Welcome my channel Worth Old Coins. Today is best top 4 coins. Please don't skip this video. So let's get it started. Top 1. The 1992 United Kingdom 1 penny coin, bearing the regal image of Queen Elizabeth II, represents a significant transitional moment in British coinage, especially in terms of its metal composition and its role in everyday transactions during a changing economic era. As a small denomination in the decimal currency system that the UK officially adopted in 1971, the coin continued to be one of the most circulated and commonly used coins in Britain well into the late 20th century. By 1992, the British public was deeply familiar with the reddish-brown penny, which served as a daily instrument of commerce in supermarkets, buses, post offices, and vending machines. The 1992 penny, though modest in face value, is notable in numismatic history as the first year in which the composition of the coin changed from bronze to a copper-plated steel alloy, a move made by the Royal Mint to cut production costs due to rising copper prices and the increasing cost of raw metals. The obverse front side of the 1992 1 penny coin features the third definitive coinage portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Makloff, a British sculptor of Austrian descent. This effigy of the monarch was introduced in 1985 and remained on UK coins until 1997. In this portrayal, the Queen is shown facing right, wearing the George IV state diadem, a diamond crown she traditionally wore during the state opening of Parliament. The detailing of her curls, the folds of her drapery, and the sparkling regality of the diadem give the image a dignified yet accessible appearance, capturing the enduring symbolism of the crown in modern British society. Around the edge of the coin appears the inscription Elizabeth II DG Reg FD 1992, which stands for Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina Fidei Defensa, Latin for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This formal title not only reflects her constitutional status as sovereign, but also emphasizes the historical continuity of monarchs serving as heads of both state and the Church of England. The Queen's profile, though familiar from earlier coins, remained deeply revered and was widely recognized both domestically and throughout the Commonwealth. The reverse back side of the 1992 1p coin maintains the traditional design that was first introduced in 1971 with designed by Christopher Ironside. The reverse features the badge of the House of Commons, a stylized portcullis, a heavy gate with spiked ends used historically in castles, topped with a crown. The portcullis is a centuries-old symbol of the British Parliament, evoking notions of security, structure, and democratic governance. Chains on either side of the gate symbolize strength and protection. This heraldic device, historically associated with the Palace of Westminster, reinforces the relationship between the monarchy and Parliament. Surrounding the portcullis is the denomination written in full words 1 penny, and the numeral 1 appears directly beneath it, signifying the coin's face value. The design is classic and enduring, making the coin instantly recognizable even today. What makes the 1992 edition especially noteworthy is the metal composition transition. Prior to 1992, all 1p coins were minted in bronze, a traditional copper-based alloy consisting primarily of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin. However, in mid-1992, the Royal Mint switched to using copper-plated steel. Due to the rising costs of bronze and the increasing demand for low-denomination coinage, the new composition resulted in coins that were lighter and more magnetic, with a core of steel and a thin outer coating of copper to retain the familiar bronze appearance. This shift was largely unnoticed by the general public at first, though it created a technical distinction between early 1992 bronze coins and later 1992 steel coins, making this year unique in that both compositions were produced. An important detail for collectors. The technical specifications of the 1992 copper-plated steel version include a mass of 3.56 grams, a diameter of 20.3 millimeters, and a thickness of approximately 1.52 millimeters. The edge is plain smooth, and the surface has a characteristic reddish-brown color. Though over time it can tarnish, especially if exposed to moisture, steel cores are more prone to rust than bronze. One way to test whether a 1992 1p coin is bronze or steel is by using a magnet. Steel versions will stick, while bronze will not. This subtle difference makes 1992 a transitional and intriguing year for numismatists, as the bronze version is somewhat scarcer than the steel counterpart in terms of mintage and circulation. The Royal Mint produced extremely large quantities of 1p coins in 1992, tens or even hundreds of millions. This high volume ensured widespread distribution, and the coins became a staple in purses and cash registers throughout the country. Due to their abundance, circulated examples of the 1992 1p are generally considered common and low in numismatic value. However, uncirculated or proof versions, especially those contained in official mint sets, are identified as early. Bronze strikes carry more appeal and slightly higher values for collectors who are building complete date or composition sets. From a historical perspective, the year 1992 was also one of reflection and transition in Britain. Domestically, the UK faced political tension, economic uncertainty following the early 1990s recession, and what Queen Elizabeth II herself later famously called her annus horribilis due to royal scandals and public scrutiny. Despite these societal shifts, the monarchy remained a central fixture of national identity, and the circulation of millions of coins bearing the Queen's portrait reinforced that connection in everyday life. The continued use of traditional heraldry, Latin inscriptions, and carefully sculpted portraits on small-value coins, like the 1p, reflected the cultural value placed on continuity and heritage. In collecting circles, the 1992 1-penny coin holds more significance than its low denomination might suggest. Its distinction, as a dual composition year bronze and steel, makes it a point of interest for anyone studying changes in British minting policy, metal economics, or coin production technology. It also serves as an accessible introduction to coin collecting for beginners, school programs, or historical education, due to its availability, symbolism, and blend of old and modern British motifs. Top 2. The 1994 1-penny coin from the United Kingdom, featuring the profile of Queen Elizabeth II, is a small but historically rich and culturally significant example of British decimal coinage, part of the modern series that began with in 1971. This coin continued a tradition of practical utility combined with regal imagery, circulating widely across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. By 1994, the 1p coin had been in circulation for over 2 decades and was used for countless everyday transactions: buying a newspaper, a candy, making exact change at corner shops, or donating to charity boxes. The 1994 edition is representative of a time of relative economic stability under Prime Minister John Major's government. During the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, who by then had already been on the throne for over 40 years, though it holds minimal monetary value in modern times. The 1994 1p coin carries symbolic weight as a piece of living history passed through countless hands, pockets, and moments in the life of the British people. The obverse front of the 1994 1p coin features the enduring and instantly recognizable right-facing portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Makhlouf, a renowned British sculptor. This third official portrait of Her Majesty was introduced in 1985 and used until 1997. It presents the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, a richly detailed diamond crown traditionally worn during the state opening of Parliament. Her portrait is elegant, regal, and serene, designed to evoke continuity, dignity, and national pride. The surrounding inscription reads Elizabeth II DG Reg, FD 1994. This Latin abbreviation stands for Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina, Fidei Defensa, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, a title that connects the monarch's spiritual and constitutional roles. This side of the coin affirms the monarchy's place in British identity and governance, while also reflecting the continuity of British coin design traditions, stretching back centuries. The reverse back of the coin showcases the traditional badge of the House of Commons, a portcullis with chains, a gate symbol originally used in the Palace of Westminster, and later adopted as a parliamentary emblem. The portcullis, topped by a crown, reflects the connection between the monarchy and Parliament, symbolizing the balance between sovereign authority and democratic representation. The design was created by Christopher Ironside, who developed the reverse imagery for Britain's new decimal coinage in the late 1960s. Surrounding the central image is the denomination written in words 1 penny, with the numeral 1 placed directly below the portcullis, balancing the design. The overall look is simple yet rich in symbolism, paying homage to Britain's constitutional structure and national identity. The technical specifications of the 1994 second 1p coin are typical for the series minted between 1992 and 1997. Unlike earlier, pre-1992 1p coins, which were struck in bronze, the 1994 version was made using copper-plated steel, a change made for economic reasons, as steel is cheaper and more readily available than solid bronze. The coin weighs 3.56 grams, has a diameter of 20.3 millimeters, and features a plain smooth edge. Its reddish-brown surface and magnetic properties due to the steel core distinguish it from earlier bronze pennies. The copper plating retains the traditional color and appearance of the original bronze coins, ensuring continuity and visual identity while reducing production costs for the Royal Mint. In terms of mintage, the Royal Mint produced tens of millions of 1p coins in 1994, making it a very common issue, particularly in circulated condition. These coins were distributed widely across the United Kingdom and saw frequent use in everyday commerce, especially in cash-heavy environments like local markets, vending machines, and coin-operated services. Because of the high mintage and the durability of the copper-plated steel alloy, many 19,941 pence coins are still found in circulation today, though their face value has declined significantly in purchasing power due to inflation over the years. In circulated form, the coin is easily accessible for collectors or those seeking nostalgic memorabilia. However, Uncirculated or proof versions, especially those included in official mint sets, carry more value and appeal in the numismatic market. Historical and cultural backdrop of 1994 adds further context to the coin's significance. It was a time of social and political transition in the UK. The early years of post-Thatcher governance, the rise of the European Union's influence, and pre-millennium technological and cultural changes. Queen Elizabeth II remained a constant, in a figure of unity and stability amid these shifts. The public's interaction with the monarchy was also evolving, marked by growing media attention and changing public sentiment, especially as the royal family faced personal and institutional challenges. Yet the Queen's portrait on the nation's coinage, including the humble 1p, stood as a symbol of enduring national continuity. In numismatic terms, the 1994 UK 1 penny coin is a key piece in modern British decimal collections, particularly for those collecting every year of issue, portrait variations, or metal composition changes. Its transition from bronze to copper-plated steel marks an important development in British minting technology and economy. Moreover, its association with Raphael Makhlouf's portrait of the Queen makes it one of the defining images of late 20th century British coinage, blending royal tradition with modern design sensibility. Top 3. The 1981 United Kingdom 1 penny coin, featuring the second official coinage portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, is a humble yet historically rich example of modern British decimal currency, though often overlooked due to its low face value and widespread circulation. The 1981 penny represents a key piece in the post-decimalisation period of British coinage, bridging traditional monarchy symbolism with evolving minting practices. Introduced as part of the decimal system launched in 1971, the coin was a crucial denomination in everyday transactions across Britain. By 1981, a full decade after decimalisation, the coin was well entrenched in the daily lives of the British public, used for bus fares, small purchases, public telephones, and countless vending machines. The 1981 1p coin, struck in solid bronze, came during a period of economic challenge in the United Kingdom, marked by inflation, labour unrest, and the leadership of Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, who had taken office just 2 years prior in 1979. Despite economic shifts, the coin continued to symbolize national unity and tradition, with Queen Elizabeth II's dignified profile serving as a constant presence in the hands of millions of citizens. The obverse front of the 1981 1p coin bears the familiar and distinguished portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, facing right, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a delicate and elegant piece of royal jewelry often seen in coin portraits from this period. This portrait was designed by Arnold Machin, a British sculptor and artist, and it was first used in 1968 on British decimal coinage. Machin's portrayal was notable for its softer, more youthful depiction of the Queen, capturing her serene expression with a refined aesthetic. Surrounding the portrait is the Latin inscription Elizabeth 2d, G Reg, FD 1981, which stands for Elizabeth II, Dei Gratia Regina Fidei Defensa, translating to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen Defender of the Faith. This inscription is a standard feature of British coinage and reflects the monarch's dual role as both sovereign and the head of the Church of England. In 1981, Queen Elizabeth II had already been reigning for nearly 3 decades, and her image on coinage had become a symbol of constitutional stability, enduring legacy, and national identity. The reverse back of the 1981 1p coin features the traditional design by Christopher Ironside, an accomplished coin designer whose work defined the early years of British decimal coinage. It displays the badge of the House of Commons, a stylized portcullis, a heavy castle gate with chains on both sides, surmounted by a royal crown. This imagery symbolizes the authority and protective strength of Parliament and its relationship with the monarchy. The portcullis, a motif historically associated with the Palace of Westminster, reinforces themes of governance, heritage, and institutional continuity. The reverse design is framed by the denomination, with the words 1 penny inscribed around the top and the number 1 centered below the portcullis. Ironside's reverse design balances simplicity with historic depth, making it one of the most iconic features of UK coinage during this era. In terms of physical characteristics, the 1981 1p coin was struck in solid bronze composed of 97% copper, 2.5% zinc, and 0.5% tin. This composition gave the coin its traditional reddish-brown color and distinct non-magnetic properties. The coin weighs 3.56 grams, has a diameter of 20.3 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a plain edge. These specifications remained consistent for 1p coins until 1992, when the Royal Mint shifted to copper-plated steel to reduce minting costs. Because of its bronze composition, the 1981 penny has a certain aesthetic and tactile richness, its metallic ring, weight, and patina making it easily distinguishable from modern steel versions. The mintage figures for the 1981 1p coin reflect its widespread use. The Royal Mint produced over 500 million coins that year, making it a very common issue in circulation. These coins were struck for use in both daily transactions and official mint sets. As such, the circulated version of the 1981 penny holds low monetary value, often worth just its face value or a few pence to collectors. However, uncirculated boo or proof versions, especially those preserved in original Royal Mint packaging, can be more desirable to numismatists, typically ranging from £1 to £3 depending on condition. Coins in brilliant uncirculated condition will display a bright, glossy surface with minimal handling wear, making them appealing for presentation or thematic collections such as year sets or monarch profiles. The historical context of 1981 further enriches the numismatic value of this coin. It was a turbulent year in the UK, marked by the continuing effects of Thatcher-era economic reforms, the rise of inner-city unrest, and a national identity in transition. However, it was also a year of celebration, most notably the royal wedding of Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer. On July 29, 1981, this event captivated the world and renewed global interest in the British monarchy, reinforcing its symbolic importance across the Commonwealth. The image of Queen Elizabeth II on coinage, including the 1p, thus carried emotional resonance and national pride, serving as a link between tradition and contemporary history. In numismatic circles, the 1981 1p coin holds a place as part of a full-date run for collectors interested in post-decimal coinage, especially those collecting all-bronze 1p coins minted between 1971 and 1991, because of its solid bronze composition. It also appeals to those studying changes in British metallurgy and minting efficiency. While the 1981 coin itself may not be rare, its condition, historical context, and completeness within a set can influence its overall value and appeal. Top 4. The 1988 United Kingdom 1 penny 1p coin is a small yet historically rich piece of modern British currency minted during a period of economic adjustment and late Cold War-era politics, featuring the elegant and formalized image of Queen Elizabeth II. The coin continues the legacy of British monarchy on currency and exemplifies the quality and symbolism embedded in even the lowest denominations of UK coinage. Issued 17 years after the decimalisation of the British currency system in 1971, the 1988 penny serves as a continuation of that important transition from the pre-decimal pounds, shillings and pence system. By this time, the penny had become a well-integrated part of everyday financial life in Britain. Although small in value, the penny was crucial in exact pricing, vending machines, public telephones, parking meters, and countless small exchanges. It also carried forward British national identity, as seen in its heraldic reverse design and the dignified representation of the Queen. On the obverse front of the 1988 1p coin is the third definitive coinage portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by renowned British sculptor Raphael McClove. Introduced in 1985, this portrait features the Queen facing right, wearing the George IV state diadem, a jeweled crown traditionally worn during the state opening of Parliament. McClove's portrayal is more detailed and regal compared to earlier designs, emphasizing the Queen's maturity, dignity, and enduring service to the Commonwealth. Her expression is composed, her features sharply defined, and her royal attire rendered with depth and grace. Around her effigy is the Latin legend Elizabeth II DG Reg, FD 1988, which translates to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This inscription reflects both the constitutional and religious role of the monarch in the United Kingdom. The font used is stately and evenly spaced, conveying formality and continuity. The portrait and inscription together reflect a proud monarchy still very much at the heart of British civic life in 1988. The reverse back of the coin features the classic design by Christopher Ironside, a leading coin designer of the decimal era. It displays a portcullis with chains, topped with a royal crown, symbolizing the badge of the Palace of Westminster and, more broadly, the House of Commons. The portcullis, a historic iron gate used in medieval castles, is a metaphor for strength, security, and governance, while the crown above it symbolizes royal authority and constitutional monarchy. The design captures the relationship between Parliament and the monarchy, a defining feature of the UK's system of government. The reverse side also carries the denomination in full text, 1 penny, with the numeral 1 centered beneath the portcullis. Ironside's design has a symmetrical, timeless elegance that made it ideal for long-term circulation. It is instantly recognizable to generations of Britons and coin collectors alike. From a technical perspective, the 1988 coin was minted in bronze, a traditional alloy of 97% copper to 5% zinc and 0.5% tin, which gives the coin a rich reddish-brown color and a satisfying metallic ring. The coin has a diameter of 20.3 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and weighs 3.56 grams. The edge is plain smooth. This bronze composition had been in use since decimalization in 1971 but was later replaced with copper-plated steel in 1992 due to rising copper prices and economic efficiency. Therefore, the 1988 penny is among the last series of solid bronze 1p coins, adding an additional historical layer to its numismatic significance. The durability and non-magnetic nature of the bronze coin meant it circulated well without quickly deteriorating, although surface tarnishing and discoloration were common with prolonged use. In terms of mintage, the Royal Mint produced over 601 million 1p coins in 1988, making it a very common issue. As such, circulated examples are usually found and hold very little monetary value, typically just their face value or slightly more if in excellent condition. However, collectors often seek uncirculated or proof versions, particularly those issued in Royal Mintier sets, which display the coin in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, where such versions may carry modest premiums for collectors building typesets, date sets, or monarch-themed collections. In high-grade uncirculated condition, these coins might be worth between 20 pence to £1, while proof versions can fetch more, especially if housed in original presentation cases. The historical backdrop of the 1988 penny is also worth noting. The late 1980s was a period of technological advancement, political transformation, and gradual economic recovery in the UK following years of industrial change. Margaret Thatcher was still serving as Prime Minister, overseeing policies that were reshaping British industry, finance, and social structure. Internationally, 1988 was part of the closing chapter of the Cold War, and the world was beginning to see the early cracks in the Iron Curtain. Domestically, the royal family remained prominent in public life, and coins bearing Queen Elizabeth II's image continued to serve as daily reminders of stability and constitutional continuity. Despite the many changes underway in the world, the design and symbolism of the coin remained rooted in British tradition. In the world of numismatics, the 1988 1p coin is primarily of interest to collectors who value complete date runs, monarch effigy series, or coins from the bronze alloy era. It serves as a vital link between earlier bronze issues and the upcoming shift to copper-plated steel in the 1990s. While not rare in itself, the coin's design, composition, and place within the broader historical narrative of British currency make it a valuable learning tool for students, historians, and entry-level coin collectors. For thematic collectors, those interested in coins showing Parliament, royal regalia, or specific alloy types, the 1988 penny is a necessary inclusion. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.